Season 6, Episode 2, Johnny playing chess by himself. And he's really into it. Yeah, Johnny goes over there and sits by Trevor and Jeremy. And they're making fun of him because he barely talks. So, they're just talking about him in front of his face. And Jeremy mentions to Matthew that he knows one of the ladies that he's seeing. And then Trevor says, I think I know who it is, and I'm actually going to go see her soon, and I'm going to ask. So they all bust out laughing. Dion and Jeremy, they're sitting down talking. Jeremy mentions that, he really likes Laura, and Sarah Ann is cool too. Jimmy is just so cool and calm, kind of nerdy. And he's like, he needs someone with a big personality, because he has a big personality. But you can't tell that this man has a big personality because he's so chill, almost nerdy in a way, in a good way, not a bad way. Jeremy and Laura, they're like, hello. He's like, I know who I'm talking to. Hi, Sarah. She's like, what? Why would you guess if you weren't sure? I don't know if he was serious about that or whatever, but it didn't bother her. He's telling Laura that, he almost wore a Hawaiian shirt. It's either a Hawaiian shirt or Henley's, and because he has a thick neck. Yeah. So Laura is telling him, she has OCD and she's not going to be able to cuddle with you or do anything with you if you have a messy home. She's not your mother. She's not here to clean up behind you. And he tells her that his his robot vacuum is always on. His house is immaculate, and she's like, oh my God, she's really turned on by that. So back at the women's lounge, Laura is mentioning that she was on a date and she mentioned a guy's name and how he mentioned a different name, but he didn't say the name. But Sarah Ann turned around like, what? Because she knows Sarah Ann and Jeremy, they have a connection. So I guess she's assuming that, oh, he probably mentioned my name. So Jeremy and Sarah are on a date. He immediately tells her, he calls somebody else her name and asking her what their weekend would look like. And also asked her, like, who's going to move in with who? He says he has a 4-bedroom house. And she's like, well, I have an apartment, so I guess I'm moving in with you. The fact that he said that he's renting his house because he sold his last house. His next house that he wants to be with someone that he's gonna, his wife. He doesn't want to just have a house and like, you come move in with me, and he doesn't want her to feel as if she's encroaching on his property. I like that. I think that's a great thing for being a man to even think of or think ahead. He tells Sarah that he can really see a future with her. And she's Amy and Johnny, they're on their date and they're talking about birthdays. She's a little bit older than he is, and they're talking about holidays because his birthday is December 11th, not too close for Christmas. And she's saying like their family celebrates Three Kings Day, heavily. I like that they're talking about that. I have not seen them on any other dates with anybody else. So I guess they're really seriously connecting with one another. And they're every date they just get deeper and deeper. She's telling him that that's more of a Hispanic holiday, and he's telling her his father used to sing the Three Kings song to him when he was younger. I'm actually tearing up. She's talking about her brother. He has autism, and her father is the primary guardian of him. And God forbid if something happens to her dad, she's next in line. So it's important that her husband knows that, and her husband, will be there to love him as his own and work with her to either get him to where he needs to be to live on his own or, take him in. And she's tearing up and he's like, don't cry. I like them. I really like them. I like them a lot. And I love that every date they're getting deeper and deeper, with their backgrounds, because their ethnicity are different, and they're learning about one another. Her, he really wants to hold her. He really wants to console her. I like that she's able to really be vulnerable, and he allows her to be vulnerable and feel safe in her vulnerability. I really do like them. He reassures her and tells her, like, if the shoe was on the other foot, he would want the exact same thing. So she's very comfortable with that. They're wrapping up the date. He's like, "Are you going to see me tomorrow?" She's like, "Of course." I feel as if they are going to be the first couple to get engaged. So AD is expressing to Alejandra, like she's pissed off with Matthew. She feels like he's playing game with her because literally he said the same thing to Amber as he's saying to her. So she's getting really upset now. So I'm still talking to Alejandra, saying, she, how vulnerable she was, crying over the things that he was saying to her. But now it feels like you're just playing a game. And even though Clay is telling her that I'm a work in progress, I'm imperfect and blah, blah, blah. She sees all the red flags with him, but she's just like, "It's okay, baby. I can fix you. I can make it better. You can practice being a good person on me." Ooh, that's a hard one to be in. Her and Matt, I'm sorry, AD and Matthew are on a date, and she's like pretty much telling him how she feels conflicted because she's hearing that he's telling the same thing to somebody else, and he knew exactly who she was talking about. And he's like, "That's not true. I'm not saying the same thing." Like, she knows he's full of crap right now. Matthew is, uh, I'm getting, I can feel like my anxiety, pressure, or something rise when he's talking to AD. He's telling her, um, you know, "Yesterday I wanted to leave with you. Yesterday I'm, was, so sure about proposing to you, and it felt great, right?" And in my head, I'm like, what in the manipulation tactic are you talking about? Like, what is all this for? If you are connecting because they have 1 week to really connect with someone, genuinely connect with that person. Don't spit game the same game to different people because people talk. It's gonna get back. It's gonna come off disingenuous. And then he's telling her, "I'm sure you're connecting with other people too. That makes me jealous," and whatever, whatever. That's not the damn point, Matthew. Let's talk about you saying the same things to another woman. Like, how sincere are you? How serious are you taking this process? And uh, I think AD, she's trying not to cry or anything, but you can hear it in her voice, like when she even says, "Yeah," like she's hurt, she's upset, because you can tell that she really liked him. And in her confessional, she made a comment or made a statement that, you know, um, she can tell that he's white. She's never dated a white person before, but she's willing to give it a try. Like, she seems more genuinely uh she seemed more genuinely connected to math Matthew. And with Clay, she knows, like, it's the same situation that I've been in before, but you're being so honest and upfront with me, telling me you're a frigged up person, to the point where she's willing to work with it. But I think she was genuinely hoping for a different outcome with Matthew, a really sincere outcome. So to me, she's just very disappointed right now. He tells her, if he had to make a decision today, he's choosing her, but he's going to make a decision tomorrow. No one is telling you to rush, but we're just telling you to be genuine, please. Now Clay and AD are on a date, and he comes off apologizing. And, she's there telling him that, she's been on an emotional roller coaster. And he's like, why? And he's like, because, well, she's like, because I found a connection with someone. I also have another connection with someone else. And he also has a connection with someone else. I don't know why she told this man that. I don't think that was a good look for her. So she started talking to Clay about, how her day went, and how, the time in the lounge went with the other lady. And Clay jumps up and starts walking around. He's getting a little antsy, impatient. I don't think, he wants to hear about another man with his potential woman. He's walking around that couch like, I don't know. Clay seems like not necessarily ready to fight, but he's walking around the couch to kind of blow off some steam or something. He said, so she finished giving her speech, and he's like, look, are you feeling me or not? Because whatever you just said, that didn't have anything to do with me. I respect that with him. I respect that. Oh, he's like, who's the other person? So she's like, me, you, and Matthew. And he's there thinking like, who the hell is Matthew? There's no Matthew here. Then he's like, Matthew, oh my God, you're going to regret that S, you know? And I'm like, do you know something that we don't know? But I guess, men can feel other men out. And he probably can tell that Matthew is probably full of crap. You know what? I'm gonna wrap this up. You need to go home and think about some stuff, and then we'll reconvene tomorrow. But I'm assuming that she was his only connection, and to hear that she's connecting with someone else, it really messed with his ego. And he's upfront about it. I like that he told her. I like that he's being open and honest, but the way he was prancing around the couch does concern me. You know, you know, are you the type of person that's just gonna pop off, for lack of a better word, if if I say something, or if you see something, shoot, if you see me talking to a dude, are you just gonna like pop off and, want to fight, want to argue, or whatever? So that does concern me, but I do respect that he is being open and honest to her, and just telling her, hey, go think about it, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. AD is apologizing for not telling him what he wants to hear. And he's like, that's all you got? She's like, hey, I could have came in and, acted for you and all that. Uh, he's going to need that constant reassurance and to feel safe with someone. And I believe that he mentioned that he was a player. So I think he is used to being that person, but not used to another person being that person to him, and doesn't know how to handle it if he ever feels threatened in his relationship. So he walks out on a date. Amber is not Amber. Well, her name is Amber Desiree. AD is in there just sobbing. She's probably like, what the hell am I doing, or whatever. And he goes back to the lounge in a room in the woman's den. And Amber and Alejandro comes over to console her, and she's saying, like she's pretty much having a bad day. Both her dates made her cry. And Amber did not know that her and AD were dating the same guy, Matt, because AD was not disclosing whatever was said. So, they're saying, Clay really, tore her up because, you're going, because another man told you to leave and whatever. So Amber is just now finding out that they're dating the same men, and he's pretty much telling her the same thing he's telling you. Amber is like, excuse me, what are you talking about? So AD is like, yeah, Matthew wants me to leave with him. So Amber is like, tonight? she's like, no, tomorrow. And Amber's like, this is my worst fear, like you can tell she's just so completely disappointed. Like she was here hoping and thinking everyone that's there is for a genuine connection. And she was really feeling Matthew. And to hear that Matthew is saying the same thing, pretty much leading both of those ladies on, is pretty devastating. Men's den. Clay is talking to Kenneth and Drake. This is my first time seeing a Drake. And he's pretty much telling them how conniving Matthew is. And they're like, Matt, the guy that never speaks? He's like, yeah. Because he feels like Matthew is playing games and is a snake, and he pretty much has no respect for him. And he's hoping that AD does not go down that route. Like, girl, he is so conniving. Having a heart to heart, and, they're comparing notes and stuff. And Amber is saying she feels so bad because, she's there blabbing her mouth to AD, not realizing that they're dating the same person. And, she's all apologetic and in tears. And she's about to leave. She's going to self-eliminate. She's crying. That's so messed up because she seemed like such a sweet girl. That is so messed up, Matthew. Now we're on to Brittany and Kenneth. They're having a date. And Kenneth is 25. He's African American. Brittany is 24, Caucasian. And they have that connection because he's a principal and she used to be a teacher. And they both connect with God because they're very religious. And he is also a minister. He's explaining to her that, life caused him to mature quicker. He lost his mom at 12 from cancer. So he really, he had to plan her funeral and everything. He really had to grow up fast. He's telling her that his mom and dad relationship was like the ideal relationship of how he wants it to be. And, he went from having everything to having nothing, like when his mom passed away. And she's saying that, her father passed away when she was very, very young, and he was an alcoholic. So they both lost a parent. They can be so relatable to one another or possibly trauma bonding. They're bonding over how their past trauma had them grow up very quickly. And she's telling him, other people might perceive me as an alpha woman, but, she wants to be submissive. She wants a man to lead her. And, he is a leader, actually. He has 2 leadership roles, both as a principal and as a minister. Oh, wow. They have a lot in common. They're there talking about, children or whatever, and how she wants twins. And he's like, my mom was a twin. And she was like, my mom was a twin too. But, her sister passed away. Her mom had, several miscarriages. She really wanted a baby. And the next year after her mom's twin sister passed away from a car accident, she had Brittany on their birthday. That gave me chills. Pretty much Brittany's mom, Brittany's mom was excited because she had Brittany on their birthday. So she has someone to celebrate her birthday with. I feel like I'm getting emotional. Yeah. And pretty much Brittany is her aunt reincarnated because her mom is always telling her, y'all act just alike, I don't know. That's just making me so emotional. I'm here, like, oh, they're so cute together. But I'm so emotional over both of their experiences. And if I feel like they would definitely had multiple babies in one pregnancy, may not even be twins because they both come from family of twins. It's in their genetics. Like they are definitely going to have multiple babies, multiple babies at a single birth, if you know what I mean. We're on a date with Amy and Johnny, and they're having sushi. She eats out a lot, she says. He's like, "What's your favorite go-to meal?" She's like, "I'm Puerto Rican. Rice and beans and chicken." Listen, I grew up in Connecticut around Puerto Ricans, and oh my God, their rice and bean is so good. Where I'm at now, it's hard for me to find Puerto Rican restaurants, but a Puerto Rican rice and bean is so darn good. Tells her he loves her, and she's there blushing. I really like them together, and I like the previous couple, Kenneth and Brittany. The way they, for being so young, 25 and 24, they are so mature, and I like their bond as well. But I'm rooting for Amy and Johnny. I really love the connection that they've built, and they're just focused on each other, and I like that. And she says she loves him too, and now she's back at the women lounge, and everyone is cheering her on. Um, so I just they need to just hurry up and get engaged. We're on to Chelsea and Jimmy now. She's apologizing to him for her behavior. He's apologizing as well. Um, and she asked him if they want to talk about the divorce, and he's like, "No, it's not a deal breaker to me." And she's like, "That's what I like. That's why I like you. We can move on, and stuff." And then he's describing his perfect date. They're on some tropical island. He packs a cooler. Yeah, the date wasn't really, his description of the date wasn't really anything to be like ooh or ah about. Pretty much say, we go out to eat and we just go back to the room and go back and smush. So they start laughing. But yeah, he's a typical guy, like, I'm sure if she was to describe her perfect date, she'll probably talk about rose petals and sunset walks and all this and all that. He's like, "No, we're on an island. I got my beer in the cooler. We're trying a new restaurant and we're going back to the room and getting it going." Oh my gosh. So, they kind of, got a little quiet. So they changed the subject. She asked him, "Do you ever get told that you look like a celebrity?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "There's just one celebrity I'm always getting told I look like, but I don't believe it. I think it's just because I have brown hair and blue eyes." And he was like, "Just say it." And she's like, "I think it's Machine Gun Kelly." Well, she didn't say that. She said, "I I don't even know if it's MGK's girlfriend or wife." This man's eyes lit up like, "Holy crap, Megan Fox? The Megan Fox?" In my head, I'm like, "Whoa, dude, she's lying to you." No, Jessica looks more like a Megan Fox than she does. But this man is super excited because it's more than just the eyes. If you think of Megan Fox, she's hot. Like body, hair, every feature, everything. She is banging. So now he has that impression in his head that that is what Chelsea looks like. Okay. My man is right there just daydreaming, talking about, can we just get married now? Like, he feels like he hit the jackpot when, to listen, Chelsea's a beautiful woman, but, men are very visual, right? So for him thinking like, what? I'm dating a Megan Fox lookalike? This man is like excited and anxious, to get it going, to get into the real world. And I feel like she completely lied to him. Ladies' quarters. Jessica, she's a little emotional because, she's really there for love. She just wants to find her husband and then go home to her baby, and just live happily ever after. Not the fairy tale, but just really be, she just really wants to find her guy. And, you know, uh, she's telling herself affirmations, she can do this, words are fine. But I think she also feels that it could have been a potential deal breaker because of the last date with Jimmy. It didn't really go so well. So she's just emotional. So back in the men's lounge, um, Dion is asking Jimmy if he thinks he's ready to be a father or a father figure, or if, and he said he think he is. He think he can do this. But you can tell that is Jimmy's not even 30. And it's a lot for someone to come in and take on such a major responsibilities. People do it every day. I'm aware of it. But it's a lot for him to think about because he wants to start a family and all that. And, potentially, when there's a family already established, will the child respect that the man will, men have reservations as well, pursuing a woman with children. So I completely understand how he feels. And then in the back of his head, he's like, then again, I got this hot Megan Fox girl. Yeah, she was married before, but no kids. He has a lot to think about. Jimmy and Jessica are on a date, and she's very emotional because she misses her baby. And I completely understand. When my daughter goes to her dad for the weekend, I am missing her. As much as she drives me bonkers, I seriously miss that little person when she's away from me. So I can completely relate to her. And Jimmy asked her, what is she like? And, she starts speaking about her child, and she's going on and on and on about her child. I felt like she was really trying to sell this awesome kid to him. I'm not saying that her baby is not, but, she's really trying to let him know that, she's cool, she's funny, she's everything. Jessica is asking him, like, how many siblings you have. Oh, so you're one of six. He's like, yeah, my older sister is adopted. And she's like, wait a second, like, you didn't tell me that. And both of his parents were married previously, and both of their spouses actually passed away. And the mom took on his sister, and then she starts speaking about how she was in foster care for a couple of years because her dad was in prison, and she didn't want to live with him. And pretty much, like, she's adopted as her mom adopted her and pretty much saved her and her baby's life, because um, if she had not adopted her, she was not going to be able to have her, to keep her baby. To be honest with you, she's going on about her family history, and I think that he's probably thinking like, dang, there's a lot with this woman. I'm not judging her, but I'm just, this is just my reaction to what I'm seeing. And he could be thinking like, man, this lady comes with a lot of quote unquote baggage, having a kid, young, father in jail or was in jail, adopted in the system and all that. So he's telling her that he likes her a lot, even so because of her experiences. So she's really falling for Jimmy. But I feel like Jimmy is, stuck on Megan Fox. Trevor's on a date with Chelsea, and they're talking. She's like, she has to have it really cold when she's sleeping, like 65 degrees. He's like, me too. And she's there trying to describe him, what she envisioned, how she envisioned he looks. She envisions this large guy. She's trying to envision his hair, but she's like, I feel like you have a mullet. He breaks out laughing because he has a mullet. And she's like, I love mullets. She's a sucker for mullets. Like them together. He's saying, like, I'm not sure how I feel about someone that actually likes a mullet. Like, how are you mentally? And they start laughing. I like that cute little banter. Now, Amy and Johnny are on a date. They're telling each other that they pretty much are each other's best friend. And he has two things for her. One, if he ever messes up, please let him know right away. Listen, I feel happy for them. I feel so emotional about them. Like I really love their connection, and I really do feel as if they're genuinely connecting with one another, and I like that. He's making me tear up. He wants to, grow old with her and wants to make sure there's no outside interference or influence. And, she's like, definitely same on her end. Oh my God. Oh, he's getting on his knees. He's about to propose. I think I think that they would be the first one to get engaged. Yeah. Proposes to her and she said yes. And they're both like crying and laughing. They're so excited and they're so cute together. So AD's telling Alejandra that, she's pretty much going to go in there and give Matthew a piece of her mind. She didn't say those words, and explaining to her that he's so good as, to talk you into a loop. She knows that he's full of crap, and pretty much she's going to let him know that she knows you ain't ish. Men's lounge, Clay and I forgot his name, or another guy sitting there. Matthew comes out, walks into the kitchen. Trevor offers him a sandwich. He's like, no. The guy that Clay's sitting next to is like, Matthew, your book is here, sir. So Matthew goes over there and takes his book and turns around. I guess Matthew is not like a boy's boy. That's the vibe I'm getting, that all the men are getting from him. So he takes the book from the guy, the fella, and just walks off. And the guy is like, you're welcome. And he still just walks off without even saying anything. So now Matthew and AD are on a date. Matthew goes on a date with AD, and she can tell the vibe is off. And he's like, you heard that Amber left, right? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, because of me. And she's like, okay, I don't really know why she left, but I guess so. But he's acting like he's so devastated, sniffling. He's just really being melodramatic / manipulative. And, he pretty much tells AD that he feels like crap because he made someone leave, which, she didn't really get the full experience and blah, blah, blah. So she realizes, like, dude, you were not here for me. You were really full of crap. And, he's still talking about how America is going to see this. America loves an underdog. And she's there like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm so glad that this is over for them and he's actually leaving, because his personality, and I was kind of liking him at one point, but his personality turned out to be very manipulative, and which that takes away from the full and the true experience of this experiment. And he ruined it for Amber, because she was really feeling him. And AD was feeling him as well. So he ruined it for both, but more so Amber because she left, because that was I guess, her only connection. At least AD has another connection, but he's pretty much just doing all the talking, and she's like, whatever. He's telling AD that, he's sorry he can't commit to what she wanted. And she's getting ready to walk away. She's like, you sound devastated. But she said it, her voice, she knows how to like get into that soft, sweet spoken. But she knows, Matthew, you're full of crap and you're not here for me. You're more so saying that because Amber left. You were not here for me. So their date is over. Goes back to the men's quarters, telling them like he's done. He's gonna go get his girl. He's gonna go get Amber. Whatever. Good riddance. Okay, now to the reveal for Johnny and Amy. So the season ends right before they open the door for Amy and Johnny. I have the biggest smile on my face. I really like them. I feel like Amy has such a sweet, innocent soul. And I don't know, I really, really do like this couple.